Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust. Have you ever had one of those weeks where you just really feel the need to escape in your campervan?
Well, we have. We have had such a busy week this week, but we've woken up this morning. It is a beautiful blue sky day, so we've decided we're just going to get away in our campervan for a night.
So don't get us wrong, we never really have a bad week, it's all relative, but we have had just a really busy week.
It started when we went down to the motorhome show last Thursday. That was a really busy, hectic day, and the video that we produced from the show, thank you. It was just so busy and lots of views and comments, which was lovely to read.
Yeah, we got so much advice and guidance from you as a community and your thoughts and your experiences. It was just so lovely to hear first-hand experiences from owners and a few recommendations of other vans that we might want to have a look at. So thank you for that.
And then it was Richard's birthday, and we had a really long hike on the Monday, which did kill us off a little bit for a couple of days, Andrew. My legs are just about recovering. We went out hiking with Frugal Mr. B.
Yeah, pretty much broke us. So we then had a day off, and then yesterday we were rushing round in a really nice way, going and having a look at a few other camper vans, but that's not the focus of this video at all.
No, so we've woken up this morning and just decided it was such a beautiful day that we just wanted to get away in the van. We live in the Yorkshire Dales, and we're going somewhere that's only 20 minutes down the road, actually.
And one of the things when we were working was that our camper van was absolutely our escape. So we used to live for the weekends, and it didn't really matter how long you went away for or really how far away from home you went. It was a safe place and a place that we really enjoy. So we are looking forward to 24 hours of decompression in hopefully a 48-hour weather window, which is unreal.
And I'm looking forward to a nice treat of a pub meal, because Richard, I did offer him on his birthday to cook him whatever he wanted, but we were so tired. We got back and we just had a fish finger butty. So we're going to have a bit of a treat tonight as well.
So yeah, we are going to try out a pub stopover. It's not something that we do all the time, but that's the theme of today's video, and we better get going. Ironically, we're only going about 20 minutes away from home, and we have just passed through Horton in Ribblehead, so you might have a clue as to where we're going. Horton in Ribblehead is the start of the Three Peaks walk, and there's a hefty hint there, but we've probably got about another 5 minutes to go. 20 minutes from home, unbelievable.
So we've come to stay at the Station Inn, which is right by the Ribblehead Viaduct. It is so close to home, but we weren't organised enough to go any further afield this time. We woke up this morning and decided to go.
And they're really well set up for it. We've just checked in. You just have to go to the bar, you leave your details, they give you a little card to put in your windscreen, and now we're free for the rest of the day, so we are going to go for a wander. So not surprisingly, it's called the Station Inn because it's right by the station, and it's right by the most beautiful station. It feels like a piece of history.
It is, it's really quaint. We've used the railway line quite a lot since we've lived in Settle because you can get on the train and just go up a couple of stations and then use it to walk back. So from here, we've got the train before now up to Dent, and then there's a really beautiful walk over the moors to come back to the Ribblehead Viaduct.
The great thing about that one is you actually get to go over the Ribblehead Viaduct for not very much at all, because you're literally from the pub just going one stop up. Another option is to go south down to Horton in Ribblesdale, which means that you could then walk Pennygent and then walk back to here, and it's all sections of the Three Peaks, so it's a really good base and saves your legs a little bit.
It is, and if you really wanted a challenge, you could do the Yorkshire Dales Three Peaks from here, but you could also do the Three Peaks in 3 days. You could do Whernside on the first day, you could do Ingleborough on the second day and catch the train down, and do Pennygent on the third day.
So, talking of walking, we're not catching the train today, so we are going to do perhaps not a popular route up Ingleborough. We love Ingleborough. It's still got snow on it, which is really quite exciting. So we're going up Simon's Fell. It's going to be a long old day, but we know that we've got pub dinner sorted at the end of the day, so something to look forward to. I think one of the things that we sometimes forget about campervan ownership, and we've had our van for over 7 years now, is the flexibility that it offers. And sometimes we're guilty of it, that we focus in on the big trips. So we are currently planning our Outer Hebrides trip and our trip to Spain and Portugal. But the real power of the campervan is these like little impromptu nights away. And we used to do it loads when we were working. And I think one of the things that we want to do this next month or so is to just do a little bit more of it, because we've actually forgotten how good it is to just quickly pack up, impromptu break, and then be back home the following day.
With it being February and we decided to come out at the last minute, there's not many campsites that are open at this time of year. So we've decided to go on a pub stopover. We've chosen the Station Inn mainly because we only decided at 8 o'clock this morning we were going to come away and it's close to home. But there are loads of pubs in the Dales that you could use. You can find them on the Search for Sites app. We are fancying trying the Buck Inn, which is out in Buckden, and there is the George and Dragon, which is near Aysgarth Fall. There's loads of choice, and hopefully we'll do a few of them over the next few weeks.
There are so many different walks available from the Station Inn, and they're not all as difficult as this. We've actually chosen this one for a couple of reasons. One, Ingleborough is probably our favourite peak, and Whernside, which is probably more accessible from the Station Inn, is, although it's the highest Three Peak, it's actually a bit sort of anticlimactic really. The second reason is that obviously Jackie and myself are on the Everest quest, so it's a really quick and easy walk to get lots of elevation. So hopefully later in the walk, if we've got enough breath left, we'll be able to take you on one of the valley walks on the way back to the pub, which is much more accessible. So there is something for everyone to walk from the pub. Bizarrely, one of the things that the Yorkshire Dales is known for is massive holes, or more specifically, leading to potholes. So within the immediate vicinity, there is a public cave that you can go into. There is a charge. I think it's called the White Scar Caves, and that's only a couple of miles drive from the pub. So there is always something that you can do to explore either up the mountains or underground.
One of the things we absolutely love about the Yorkshire Dales, particularly this area of the Yorkshire Dales, is all the limestone pavements. This is a great spot to just walk through and have a picnic on your way up Ingleborough. Obviously, one of the best places to see them is at the top of Malham Cove, and that whole experience is just another thing to visit. This is where our campervan adventures first began. We spent our first ever night in Nelson on this car park here, which belongs to the Old Hill Inn. I'm not sure if they still do overnight stops. I think they do, but it was a great night. It used to be a cracking pub. It was really vibrant.
So it seems like ages ago that we spoke to you at the start of the day about the different walks that are around here. Now, we've done a really quite high level walk. We've got lots of altitude out of that, and legs are pretty tired. But on the way back, we're going down the valley towards that way, the Ribblehead Viaduct. And there are just a network of footpaths and tracks that you can use down there. So you don't think if you're at the station inn you have to go and do loads and loads of hills. There's plenty of walking. And actually it's the best time of year because it's just about getting to lambing season, which is the best time in the Dales because the whole world springs to life. One of the things you definitely have to do when you come to the station inn is to visit the Ribblehead Viaduct, and it's a little bit hard not to do it because it's just right behind the pub and it is just an iconic Yorkshire scene.
And we were hoping when we made the decision this morning to come here that we would get a really nice sunset, and we've not been disappointed. We've seen the sunset over Ingleborough, and behind us the skies have just gone a really gorgeous pinky blue colour, so it's been great for photography as well.
And there is due to be a really good sunrise, but Jackie's I think skimming over that because I think there's only me that gets up for sunrises. But yeah, it's been a cracking day, but the best bit of it right now is that we're going to go back to the station inn and we're going to have some proper pub grub and a pint.
Yeah, we've walked over 16 kilometres, my legs are aching and I need lots of carbohydrates. So we're home. We had such a lovely night last night, and I keep a bit of a record of how many nights we've spent in the van. I hadn't updated it from when we were in Europe, when we were skiing. And actually, it turns out last night was our 800th night in Nelson, which is a bit of a coincidence because, as we said in the video, we also spent our first night only 2 miles down the valley.
Absolutely fantastic. 800 nights of just pure joy, and we've said it a lot before in our videos, but Nelson has absolutely changed our lives. We went to the pub for a pub meal and it was great. The pub food was excellent. We didn't go for like really expensive stuff. We had sort of small plates and things like that, but they were around about £10. The larger plates were £15 to £20, but it's got a really good reputation for food and it was really busy for a Thursday night.
It was. I just was craving really starchy carbohydrate foods because we've done so much walking this week, and a big plate of fish and chips, although it was only a small plate, was just what I needed.
And then obviously something else you would absolutely expect from a Dales pub is that the beer was spot on. Now, I'm not a real ale person because, believe it or not, from Yorkshire, I don't like me flat beer. I like gassy beer. But they've got a number of beers on keg and they've got a number of beers on cask. And from the people that were around us, it was a real variety of beers and it was really popular.
What's great about a pub stopover, it was just a short stumble back to the van. I couldn't believe actually when we left the pub how much the temperature had dropped, and in reality it was actually colder in the Dales than most of the nights that we spent when we were skiing in Bourg Saint Maurice. I think it probably got down to about -4, and it was quite chilly when we got back.
It was, and it was certainly chilly in the morning, but what it meant was that I was treated
I wasn't.
to the most unbelievable sunrise, and that part of the valley is so quiet. I just had a little paddle around taking photos and it was beautiful. It was absolutely cold and the frost on the van was incredible, but what a weather window and what a place to spend it.
Yeah, so to sum it up, we just had the most fantastic 24 hours away, only 20 miles down the road from home. Loved just staying at the pub so that you could just stumble back to the van, something that we're hoping we're going to repeat again next week. So we've got to choose a different pub that we're going to go to. We want to explore the northern Dales a little bit more because we've done a lot around the area where we live, but we haven't been up sort of north past Aysgarth Falls and West Burton area, but there's lots of different pubs up that way.
And it doesn't have to be expensive. The Station Inn doesn't charge for you to stay there as long as you have a meal and a drink there. And it felt really good because pubs like that would be really struggling. You know, we're talking about the back end of February, a midweek night, and it was really busy. There was quite a few vans in there. Everyone was eating. There was also people staying at the hotel and in the bunkhouse. So what could have been a really quite deserted, sad rural pub was actually really vibrant on a Thursday night.
Which does remind me, actually, obviously we've got a van and it was really easy for us to just pack up and go. But there are other ways to be able to stay in that area. Like Richard said, there is a hotel attached to the pub. It's got bunk barns. And actually, when we walked through the valley, we stopped and showed you the Old Hill Inn where we had our first night. I did do a bit of research. You can stay there still in motorhomes and caravans as long as you've got your own facilities because they don't open their toilets overnight. They do food, but I think it's probably on a little bit more of an erratic timetable, so you would have to ring and check, but a great place to stay. And there's also some brand new camping pods that we walked past through the valley when we were walking back to the Ribblehead Viaduct on one of the farms. They looked amazing, so we've taken a photo of the name of it that you might be able to have a look and see how much they were, but there's lots of different accommodation in that area.
And talking about facilities, which we haven't done, we haven't got facilities in our van, which is why the Station Inn is really good because right next to the bunkhouse there is just a toilet that operates on a keypad. It was spotlessly clean, it was really warm, and it just makes the difference in terms of us being able to stay somewhere. So yeah, we'd thoroughly recommend the Station Inn at Ribblehead.
Obviously, we stayed midweek in the middle of winter and it was quite quiet. There were only about 5 other vans there. If you are thinking of going up to stay, I would probably give them a call, particularly if it's a weekend or more of the higher season, because they do get really busy.
But that's it. We're home. We had our little 24-hour break and we fell in love with the area, but we also fell in love with the concept and reminded ourselves of how much we liked just impromptu, like getting away in the van. You know, we're back now and we're thinking about doing it again next week. So we're watching the weather windows. We are going to hopefully do a few more pub stopovers and explore a little bit more of the Dales because it's our own backyard, but we hardly know the place. But that's it from us. So hope you've enjoyed it and we will see you next week. See you. Bye.
Bye.